Hello and welcome to this week's Fit Finance Sessions. We don't have Henry with us this week. He's turning the ripe old age of 485 or something along those lines. At least the combined age of at least myself and Tim Webb, who you can see on screen as well. But this week we're going to cover off what Rishi Sunak covered really in the budget, just a few things to keep you up to date with. So Tim, why don't you start us off with some of the headline items?
Yeah, sure. I mean, not to bore the listeners and just reel off what's happened in detail, because they can just go and read themselves. But I think that the big ones, obviously, stamp duty, holiday, and the VAT cuts really are the main ones that I can jump at immediately. I mean, so just to explain that, so the VAT cut is a cut from the normal rate of 20% down to 5% for until from July until Jan. So 6 months, everybody gets a bit of a retail break, if you like. So clearly designed to help people get out there spending, get themselves back up to normal speed in restaurants, hotels, and so on. So I think that's fairly well accepted as one of the hardest hit sectors throughout this period. I mean, a couple of months ago, I would have said, well, actually, even though these things are out there, who's actually going to still go out there? You know, there's still quite a lot of fear out there at the moment, but that's what I would have said. I think now I'm walking out and about, and like you, Tom, but I think generally speaking, from what I can see, people are fairly fed up with the situation, and they're more inclined just to get on with their lives and sort of, if they get it, they get it, and a little bit more blasé. So I think actually there'll be more of a take up for people, for people getting up there and eating out, etc., as they used to once do.
I think, well, the reason these policies come out, it's not just to give away money, it's to try and stimulate the economy. The more money that's sloshing around in it, the more growth, the more productivity occurs. And again, at the same time, if hospitality really suffers, that's a lot more people on unemployment. That's a lot of jobs that need replacing with other jobs. And yeah, I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's going to solve the issue, but hopefully it's not meant to be a massive giveaway in terms of cash. I think it's just to get people out there that maybe were erring on the side of caution, give them a reason to. And there's a lot of short-term policies at the moment. I think we were just saying beforehand that there's going to be a bigger budget later on in the year, probably with more wider reaching differences, but this is kind of a bit of an adrenaline shot in the arm to try and just push things forward a bit that might or otherwise be sleepy. If you were umming and erring about buying a house, then the stamp duty relief will help you a bit. But again, I think it's only for the next, is it to the end of the year?
End of January, or middle of Jan. So pretty much. But yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think there's two things from a sort of a top level perspective that catch my eye. One, I mean, going back to the Thatcher days, I think Conservatives standing up in the houses that be and seem to not really give too much of a damn about the younger generation and unemployment levels in those sorts of age brackets. Typically the understanding is that Conservatives don't really care too much about that end of the market, but I think Rishi is trying to use his reign as Chancellor to kind of dismiss that kind of thought process on how Conservatives run the country. But he's playing a dangerous game, isn't he? It's a dangerous game. I think this is a 30 billion package that he's brought out, and it's obviously funded by debt. The UK has now got more than double the debt to income, national income ratio than it did in 08 and 09, so in the last massive retracement we saw in the market. So, we're in a dangerous situations playing with monopoly money, as it were. So how that actually comes to light and how that filters down is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think the problem is if you don't spend, it's even worse. And actually, if you are going to spend now's the best time. Interest rates are so low at 0.1% that it's the cost of borrowing is very low. The economic fallout from not spending the money in the economy slowing down even more is even worse. And I think reality is inflation the more money that gets spent, inflation will kick on and erode that debt even more. So it does sound like they're just shaking the magical money tree, but at the same time, if there was a time to do it, it is now, when the economy, and you haven't got a lot of else room to maneuver. Otherwise, you're looking at a 1930s depression, which is a lot worse. So better to do it, but again, it's the same as always. There's always a malaise du jour. There's always a problem around the corner. This is a bigger one than maybe some of the things in the past, but the world will keep turning. It's just and people will lose their jobs. You can't save every job, but it's better to do something than lose lots of jobs and have sort of 1980s level of unemployment at the same time. But yeah, I think it's more of a small plaster on a big gaping wound at the moment. But yeah, I think once the economy gets back going, it might be what a lot of people are talking about, the 90% economy. A lot of it will come back, but there's going to be a chunk missing. And then the world will adapt and do different things, and progress will happen. But and in terms of doing some of that progress, there have been a few smaller giveaways as well, such as green grants for homes. So there's a £5,000 giveaway for making your home more energy efficient. It's not a free cash withdrawal. It's very much, you've got to spend some of the money. So if you spend £2.5 grand, you'll get £5 grand. You've got to pick up the tab for a third, but ultimately can help do some home improvement, save money on your bills, particularly with people spending a lot more time at home going into winter. Things like that are helpful. And again, it's putting money into jobs. I think there is a lot of criticism that they're not backing more greener ventures overall with the economy. But again, I think this is just a more of an interim measure. So we'll wait to see what comes out. But unlucky for Henry, he didn't get his free beer tokens. £10 off your meal at the local Wetherspoons Monday to Wednesday is probably not quite the £500 voucher he was hoping for in the last podcast. So, yeah, that's why he's not here today. He's licking his wounds. But I think that's it, isn't it? There's a few other bits and pieces in there. There's lots of support for employers and different things, but again, it's short-term policies, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. I think the employer incentive for me that stands out is £1,000 one-off payment to per employee that comes off furlough, so that comes to the payroll effectively. Whereas in my mind, you have to, as an employer, you'd think, well, how much am I saving not having to pay this employee versus the £1,000 I'm going to get back? So, surely you wouldn't be having to be paying the employee that much for you to be better off just to keep them on furlough than to get the money back, the £1,000. So I'm not quite sure on the maths of that one. But there you go.
Yeah, I think some of the I think they're good ideas, and they're I think it's nice to see someone trying to do something different. How effective they are, no one knows. No. Like you, I think £1,000 probably isn't going to save someone's job, but it's a bonus, and that can be put into other things. I think also, if you're starting a business or you need some extra support, then taking on apprenticeships and getting young people to maybe start projects that you've not had the time to do. It's those businesses that think in that way that'll survive. I think from even looking at our own business, we've grown over the years, and it's been able to take people on and grow it and do more. That gets you there. So there's some support in there, but there's some small interim measures, and I think there is criticism from HMRC and other areas about how effective they're going to be. But I think just trying to keep the good news train going, as opposed to the negative events world service by the main channel.
Yeah, indeed.
I think that's it from me. Anything else from you, Tim?
No, nothing too crazy to chat about, really. I mean, I think by and large, from what I can see from the markets, how they've reacted to what's been put out there, it's largely been shrugged off. But then we are moving into earnings season now, going into the new quarter. So I think that's more the traders focal, or more of the focal point than this. So yeah, from the market's perspective, it's largely just been shrugged off.
Yeah, I think I haven't checked, but I think earnings season starts at the moment, but markets have been doing quite well off the back of it, or at least positive. So yeah, we'll wait to see, because I think that's the bigger issue. Is all these policies are great, but it's we're yet to see what the impact is. But yeah, keep tuning in each week, and we'll keep you posted on how good or bad that is. But equally, at the same time, there's always going to be issues. It's just about navigating them safely over the years to come. But yeah, I think that's all from me. And yeah, we'll speak to you next time.
Thanks so much for listening. Take care.